all of these natural resources. We have gold, diamonds, oil. We have people, today's slave market, that you folks are working in the mines for a pittance of nothing. You pay us nothing to do the hard work. All of these conglomerates are coming into Africa. The contracts, everything that we are signing is not giving us equal pay, and she rattles off the names of the companies that are taking advantage of the African people. World debt, she says, that you were saying we now have to pay. World view of Africa. That's what she's saying. That's what it's about. We could be an uprising, conglomerate country. But you're not doing right by us because you keep saying we are poor, we are less than, we are marginalized, and the way you're treating us is that. So you're not giving us our fair due, if you will. Because the way you see us is the way you are treating us. And because we don't know any better ourselves. If they had a voice, if they had the intellectual knowledge, because remember, we got to go back to Timbuktu. We got to go back to the 6th century, 7th century, 12th century, where Africa was one of the leading countries in education. But when you had dominant culture start coming in, they destroyed everything. Do you understand? So when you destroy everything, those who come behind you see nothing. All they see is the wreck and the ruin of a landscape, and people. That's the reality. And that's what she's trying to check them. And they are sitting there dumbfounded. Because how dare this black woman speak to us like this and speak the truth? That's what she's doing. And then she says, oh, I love it. Then she says, thank you for this video. Then she says, now, look what we can do on our own. And then she goes into what she has done. But you have to speak about the beginning of the film. Because she's letting everybody know, I don't need you. No, thank you. I think she even says, no, thank you. You follow? So if you don't do that first, you don't understand where she's coming from. Because that's what it's all about. Of what one woman can do when they are on their hero's journey. And how one woman can take, sit down. Clap for them anyway. Let me have your sheet. How one woman with vision, with her own power, with her own authentic voice, can make a change. Do you understand? She is building her own conglomerate where the art, the textile, the jewelry, the clothing, the sneakers are right here in stores in New York City, California, etc., across the United States. And what I love is because what dominant culture says, when they look at stuff like that, they say, oh, it's so exotic. Have you ever heard the term? It's so exotic. I would like to own that. Do you follow? Exotic, different, unusual. I have the money to buy. Okay. All right, next. Did we do next? There is no next. Okay, extra credit. So we covered did we cover the Women's Kingdom?
We did cover the life of Mom.
Did we cover the Women's Kingdom?
Sort of.
Just the first two.
Okay. Okay, let me talk about it for a minute. There's going to be a question extra credit. I love this society. I'm telling you, there's going to be a question on extra credit on this. So if you're smart, you will look at the video, because who doesn't want extra credit? Not me. Who doesn't want extra credit? Not me. Who wants extra credit? Me, 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 me. That's what it should be like. You understand? So you know you're going to have a midterm. You know what you got on your last quiz, yes? And you know what my expectations are in regard to your writing. You understand? So therefore, that's why I say if you can speak it, you can write it. And I'm not concerned about your writing it in the best English, because I know some of you are doing your reading and writing now. Remedial, that's okay. What I have said is that as long as you understand the premise and the thesis of the work, and you can write it in such a manner that I can understand, I can see that you can see it, plain and simple. Do you follow? Then you will not have any difficulty. Now, and let me say this before I go into it. As you are responding to the questions, keep asking yourself, am I answering the question? I don't want you going off on a tangent, because sometimes that's what folks do. They start writing and then you start to tell me about Africa and Asia and Texas, and no. Stay focused on the question and keep saying, as you are responding to the question, am I answering the question? All right? Okay. Now, the Women's Kingdom PBS, Matrilineal Society, Nassau Women, detail. This is a society of women in Asia, very much like the women in Kenya. That's why I like it. I like it because it shows geographically we have women who have decided, I'm going to empower myself. I'm going to take back my power that men, the patriarchy, have taken from me. Do you understand? This matrilineal society says we don't need marriage. And what has been instituted in this given society. Now let me stop here because I see the eyes, you know. I see the expression. I get it. This is the 21st century, but we still have, many of us are raised to believe, you know, this system was built on religion, this country was built on religion, and therefore our system is built on religion. The notion that about marriage and faith and all of that, that women are considered to carry, or supposed to carry themselves in a certain way. I'm trying to put this delicately. But let me say this to that. And I'm not saying whether I'm in agreement or not with it. Do you understand? I'm just letting you know what exists out there in the world. And we talked about Kenyan women, and this diagram shows you across certain parts of the globe that female genital mutilation is happening. And because of that, the women in Kenya have said, no more, no more, no more. Some women. The patriarchy has spoken too long and too loudly over our bodies. I'm going to bring it to China in a minute. Stay with me. Now, because men will be men, and someone said until men bear children, they will never be able to understand the plight of a woman. Now, the women say, who have to go through this and survive and live with it on a daily basis, when you become educated, when you know better, you do better. Maya Angelou. When you know better, you do better. When it comes to the cutting of women, if you don't have a clitoris, you don't understand the pain. And men don't have that. Do you follow me? And as in Samburu culture, if you are not cut, you cannot get married. So some women have said, that's okay, I just will not get married. I will live my life, but I do not want to go through that. And that's why you have the varying degrees of women and men in Kenya. Bringing it globally, New Guinea also does this. And New Guinea is on the tip end, it's a separate island, right near Australia. In certain parts of the United States, you have certain cultures in which women are still being cut. It is a taboo subject. It is done woman to woman. Do you follow? So when you have all of these taboo subjects concerning women, some women have stood up and said, no, I want to be my authentic self. I want to live my life, and I want to be in control of my life. And if I'm in control of my life, I'm in control of my body. Do you follow? So now, we move across the water to our Musa women. And they have said, I can do the work of a man. I can build my village. And I don't need to get married. I still want to have relationships with men. I'm not a man hater. That's what they're saying. It's just the opposite. Many of them say, I still love men. Do you follow? But I don't want to be married. So what they do, they have instituted the practice of walking marriage. At night, they open the door. And they invite someone in. And in the morning, they open the door and say, see ya. Do you follow? That's how they feel. And then you have those who have decided to be together. And they say, I'm not married, but we're together. They have a child. You saw it in the film, yes? And they are raising the child as a family, but the woman's voice is the matrilineal voice that is in control. And that's important. She has the power in this society. But what has happened, as our narrator talks, is that with the institution of tourism, because now the word has gotten out about this society. You follow? Because you have men coming in and men leaving. The word has gotten out. For those men who are not a part of this given society. So you have the institution of tourism, because that's also how they make how they are making their money, turning their homes into hotels. And the narrator informs us that because of this influx of men who are now coming in, she and perhaps others are beginning to question identity and attitudes about self. Because the men now coming in, because they've heard about walking marriage, follow me as I go through it, yes? Are now saying, I want to come in, spend the night, and I'll pay you. That's equal to prostitution in our land, in our day. You understand? And I love it when she says, I look at him and I say, are you that handsome? And she makes him question himself. And why would I have you in my bed? That's what she's really saying. And the answer is no. Because walking marriage is based on affiliation and affection. It is not just, how can I put it?
One night stand.
It is not just, not just a booty call. You understand? Where there is no affection. No affection. Are you available? Sexuality. You understand? Women. These women say no. No. Because they know who they are. And there is a sense of pride in their entire being. Do you understand? I do not want you to look at these women as women who have been cheapened. They are not. It is the opposite. Because they have their own authentic voice and authority. And it is not like they are sleeping with the neighborhood. Do you follow me? Do you understand? But what has happened is because you do have these other men come in and say, money, money, money can buy anything and anybody. Now, our narrator says, it has made her question who she is. And because the men, have raised this question, it has made her feel somewhat less than, and that's why she's questioning. Do you understand? With the institution of the notion of male, money, and buying. Do you follow what I'm saying? Okay. Maybe you do, maybe you don't. That's tourism. Oh, and there's one other thing I want to note that I think is so important. She speaks of the Han people, another group of Asian people, and her partner is from that group. And their relationship, even though they are doing the walking marriage, their relationship is an interesting one because she says, and she has spoken to the fact that she has left her culture, gone to visit his family. And what happened?
They didn't let her sing in the streets.
Hmm?
They didn't let her sing in the streets. And like basically follow her traditions.
Okay, now, when she has gone to visit his family, the society is different. She is used to being free. You understand? And as she says, she can't even sing her song. And then when she tries to sing it, the husband stops her, because he says the people are going to think you're crazy. Do you understand? And she says, I had to go into a bedroom and sing. Because those on the outside looked at her as if she was crazy. Because she's used to going up and down the river, picking up her passengers and people, etc. It's a free life when you have a village life. I think I spoke about this in Africa. When you live out under the stars and you can walk out and see the sky and running water, flowing water. Do you follow? When you are living under nature, the sky, the moon, the stars, you feel the air on your face, not pollution. There's a difference. There is a sense of freedom. But when she went to the city where his family lived, different culture, different standards, not understanding her free spirit, she was locked up and locked in. That's a good way to put it. Don't write that. Find your own words. You understand? Her freedom was taken from her. And she said no. She says no to the fact that if he leaves me, she says, I just might die. No, she says, I might be able to survive. But if she leaves her culture, she knows she will die. Living in this city would kill her because her spirit would be killed. Do you follow? Okay. All right, folks. Any questions? See me after class. Oh, wait, attendance sheet. Don't leave. Do not leave attendance. cards I have to sign? Blue cards for Tuesday? Okay. You don't know what this stuff is supposed to. No, I'm not accepting it. Oh, you win. Oh, anybody else go? Did anybody else go? How was it? Oh, I'm so sorry I had to miss it. But you enjoyed it? Okay. You know how you're doing? Did you do all your homework? Okay. Have you been here every day? Are you on time? Oh, what did you get? Don't answer now. What did you get on your first quiz? I don't want to know, but you know. You understand? And we'll see how the midterm is. All right? So if you're doing all of that, then you're passing. You follow? Okay.
I won't be able to have a physical burn class, but I can print this out. This is the information. I don't know if it's like, this is the, I can print this out.
What I want.
Yeah.
Where's your name?
It's because it's my sign.
Okay. Print everything out. Make sure I have your name. Make sure I have your name.
I'll print it out.
And when are you coming to me? You're gonna send me,
It was given to you that Wednesday at 10.
send me an email. Listen to what? Print this out. Then send me an email. You're outside the door. And send, what time?
10 a.m.
No, I'm looking at the clock. It's 3:45. Why they ain't? So no.
I'll send an email with the.
Send me an email, letting me know that you're gonna do that. Send that to my email.
Okay.
Attach it.
Still print it too, right? Okay.
You don't have to print it, attach it to the email.
Oh, okay.
And
Okay,
we're
thank
good.
you. Okay, see you next time.
Also, put down there that you're coming Wednesday, what time?
10 a.m.
Oh, I'm not here Wednesday.
Oh, yeah, you said Wednesday 10 a.m.
I'm not gonna be here Wednesday.
That's next week, right?
You're coming Thursday.
Thursday 10 a.m.
Yeah, Thursday. Okay.
Okay.
Put that in the email
Okay, all
also,
right, thank
because
you.
that's my reminder.
Okay.
Yes, dear. Do you understand what's happening? You're having difficulty. Oh, okay. You're not with student support? No.
Do you mean the financial aid support or?
The counseling downstairs.
I never hear that before.
Okay, then you're not with it. It's okay, come on in. Do you have an exam today? Oh, that's why. Okay. All right. Do you understand what's happening in the class?
Just a little bit.
Okay.
But I try to understand it by myself.
Okay.
Because some of the video maybe have something that translated. So,
Did you understand what I was saying today when I was talking?
okay.
Okay, that's important. If you can get that, then you can be okay. All right?
Okay.
So just review all of the
Okay.
videos. All right, that's what I want you to do. Okay.
Okay, thank you.
All right.